Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's guidance from this Monday till next Sunday. Unless I'm looking at a calendar, I don't know the dates. I put them on the video at the very end. I drew a card from my Medieval Scapini Tarot deck. This is one of the weirdest decks I own. I did a review of it not too long ago, and I never ever use it, but today felt like a good day. So the card I drew, I'm kind of happy. We haven't had too many like dark or really icky cards, and this one's pretty dark and icky. So today, or for this week, the Nine of Swords. All right, get a good look at this. I want to make sure that you can see what's going on. Is this in focus? Maybe? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I usually think of the Nine of Swords as the nightmare card, and this is pretty close to a typical traditional Nine of Swords. Though when I first saw it, actually it reminded me a lot of Four of Swords, seeing this guy resting on an altar with all the swords above him. But then I noticed our friend here, and judging from the facial hair and the hat and the clothing, I think what we have is this guy thinking about this. So it's probably really hard to see, but underneath his tomb, there's a picture of, or there are these engravings of a cultist doing something god-awful to a little man, and then a giant stepping on a little man. I don't know what's up with the weird fetus over here, but we've got our, I don't know, our nobleman, our persona for this card, cowering next to what I'm interpreting is as the idea of death, the idea of pain and suffering. And you know, having done a lot of work in mediumship, I do think about death a lot. And it's not always in a good way. I mean, even believing in reincarnation and past lives and knowing that death is just a doorway to something else, it's still frightening. And what I saw in this card was how, yes, death itself, the concept, the reality of death is very frightening to us. But more than that, it's not even the threat of death. It's the way our mind can take off, and we think of pain, or we think of fear. You know, we have our nightmares. We think, oh God, what if I don't get paid fast enough, or what if I don't get this thing done? A lot of thought leaders will break down whatever your fear is, ultimately being, you know, underlining a fear of death. The ego fears the death of itself. We fear the death of our physical bodies. We fear the death of people and things around us. And this week, the overwhelming thing I got from this card was, just stop. You're not going to die. And even if you are, you're not really going to die. Whatever it is that you're holding, you know, with fear in your heart or around you, whether it's some task that you're trying to get done, or some relationship that isn't going well, whatever seems to be threatening you with the feeling and the concept and the idea of death. You know, for me, it's my credit card. You've got to cut it out. This is not a week to be sitting here next to this imagined tomb and rocking back and forth with a million-mile stare. Like, come on, look at his eyes. Like, he's having a rough time here. All these scary swords, this dream of death that he has, it's got him completely immobilized. But, I mean, he's got a sword of his own. So, like, just to take the card a little bit farther, we have this weird cultist doing terrible things to him or people, and a giant stepping on him or someone. But he's got a sword. Why doesn't he do something? Why don't you do something? You're still here. You've still got some kind of tool at your disposal. You know, maybe it's just your mind. Maybe you have actual tools. Maybe you have a lot of energy. Maybe you have a lot of resources. Everyone's got a sword in there. I don't know why I'm always talking about swords on these videos. Everyone has a sword. Everyone has a wand. If you prefer that, you know, we're going to take it to the magician. So, I never want to advocate for spiritual bypass. If there's fear, get into it for a second. Really feel it. Figure out where it's coming from and why. Because if you just keep trying to fight it and push it away, it'll come back again and again and again, and then you're stuck. So, you know, have your little sit down. But don't you dare do it this entire week. Come on. Look for look for the tool that you have to fight against these phantoms. Don't sit there and build up the idea, the image, the tomb of your fear and lay yourself on top of it. Gosh, he doesn't look that old. He's got time. You've got time. Everyone's got time. Sometime. I hope this doesn't backfire and go too dark for some people. But that's this week. Cut it out. Get up. Grab your sword. Not you, Yuki. Come back here. You don't have to go anywhere. Sorry. Yeah, this is not the week for sitting in your nightmares and stewing in your fear of death, whatever that death is. A bill, a bad work relationship, a fight with your significant other. Don't. That's really it for this week. Oh, I knew this was running kind of fast. I didn't think of a mini meditation for you. So let's see. I've got one. All right. So instead of putting yourself on the altar, putting a visage of yourself on this tomb, you're going to have a little send-off for whatever this nightmare or fear or pain is that's got you, you know, crouching in a corner, just waiting and immobile. So close your eyes. Some of you might get emotional doing this. I can feel already myself feeling a little bit emotional at the thought of doing this, but it's time to send off, to have a service for this thing that you fear. Ultimately, it is what will die and not you. And death is scary and death is sad and death deserves recognition and mourning. So let's mourn this nightmare or this pain, this phantom. Give it a face. Give it a name. Take a deep breath. Build it a bower. don't know if you want to do, all wood, the kind that you set fire to, or put it on a boat and push it out to sea, or lower it 6 feet down. But just give yourself a little 5 minutes, time, space, to lay it to rest, to say goodbye. As long as you let it hover around you, as long as you're in the wake, period, you can't move on. Closure is important. So take this fear. Mine involves lots of numbers. Give it the death it deserves. All right. Good luck this week.